It's the motherfucking player haters. Oh, yeah. Well, are your nerves shot? Mine sure are. And now I get to deal with my damn cousin and his bullshit. I don't know if y'all know this, but Jack Flaherty, best pitcher in baseball. Just letting y'all know. Best pitcher in baseball. Welcome into week 19's recap. That's right. Week 19 came and went. And it was a little nerve-wracking for some. Shane wanted to, he had thoughts that Ray was going to beat him. But, then Shane, I don't know. Anyways, let's get into it. Last week, myself and one Pokenis, Sean, faced off against each other. Man, I left some serious stats on the damn bench over the week. I mean, I benched Jordan Westberg, and to, my detriment, he gets to play today, and now he's day-to-day. But he put up some huge numbers yesterday that would have made yesterday a lot more interesting for sure. I would have won home runs. I would have tied him being Sean, in RBIs. And probably would have definitely been a better score than what I walked away with. But I did win 7-4 and got to at least stay somewhat relevant in the top 6 one more week. Shane faced off against Ray, as I mentioned earlier. This was interesting for the first couple of days, and Shane was able to get a pretty close victory in the few categories: stolen bases, average, OBP. He walked away with the home runs. And the ERA and the WHIP were very close, as was the quality start and the save plus holds. But she was able to walk away with those 4 and close in the wins and the strikeouts. But to the victor go the spoils. Shane is our number 1 true hero of fantasy baseball. Everything that he touches is awesome and gold. Bench warmers faced off against Walker, and Walker said, "Not today, young man." This rise that Walker has been on is truly on it really is just, it's kind of fun to watch. I'm not looking forward to him being in the playoffs because he's got a very dynamic roster now when you start to look at it from top to bottom, and how he built such a prestigious roster with names like Jazz Chisholm, Yandy Diaz, Jose Altuve, Taylor Ward, Zach Neto. I mean, it truly is a just gift of mastery. I believe he picked up Zach Neto free off the waiver wire. What's a waiver wire, guys? I haven't had any opportunities to really, pick up anybody in the last couple of weeks, and he's got a pretty decent pitching staff, and he still has several people, Bryce Miller, Pablo Lopez, just waiting in the wings for him to just plug in and have a dominant pitching staff, even more so. But he did get the victory over Josh 7-5, and that widened the distance between Josh and Shane. And we did get a bounce back week for Nick. He faced off against Troubleshooters, and as I stated last week, this was going to be a matchup that Nick needed to win to even stay remotely relevant in the playoff chase, which we'll get into in a minute, as to just how close it still is anybody's. But Jesus was able to get a few stats here and there: stolen bases, runs. He got strikeouts, very close in that category and in quality starts. Only one save plus hold and 3 amongst the two of these gentlemen. So probably something that they're looking to try to really look at, saying, is this an area where they probably could grab some more? Let's look at trying to see Reed Garrett, Jeff Hoffman. And then he's got Randy Rodriguez, Brian Abreu. So, yeah, probably wouldn't be a bad idea for these two gentlemen to maybe grab another relief pitcher out there. I believe he just dropped Griffin Jacks. That would be Nick, but or he might have just picked him up. I can't remember. But Nick, again, was able to take Jesus and I believe really put him in an uncomfortable situation because we remember Jesus has been involved in the top 6 discussion a lot this season, and now he's in 10th place. Still not out of it, though. Mandalorians faced off again, swinging and missing, and after a big week last week for Eric, this week, not so much. Very close in a lot of categories. Stolen bases, they tied in. Quality starts, they tied in. Wins, they tied in. And we all know ties are a big deal, apparently, more so than, a loss or a win. But very close in a lot of categories. He lost by 1 home run. I didn't look at what all Eric might have left on the bench, if he left anything at all that could have affected the overall outcome. But Mandalorian Scott both of these teams, they really put up big numbers. I don't know about y'all, but my week last week, wow, just offense was not there for me at all. And again, as I mentioned, leaving what I left on the bench 2 days in a row, oh man, it really fucking sucked. But Christian Yelich lit up the night sky in one game where the Milwaukee Brewers, who ended their winning streak, I believe, at 13. And I want to say all 3 of those Cincinnati games went into extras, or at least 2 of them did. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. He had a big game a couple of games ago for sure. I thought for whatever reason that Sean had him. I had forgotten that I guess Scott acquired him in a trade with his brother Shane. But Corbin Carroll was definitely alive and well, and I'm sure he'll do big, great things against me this week for sure. We'll get into those matchups here in a minute. And last but not least, let's talk about Brian versus Jason. Jason holding on to 6th place, but Brian was able to really kind of walk away with some home runs. He took that category very close in the average and OBP. Strikeouts, Jason was definitely he dominated there, but a high ERA and not something that Jason really, wants to carry into the last few weeks with the pitching staff that's going to be giving up big runs like that. But these two gentlemen staying relevant. It was a matchup of the week to watch. And now let's get into week 20. As I mentioned earlier in the week, a couple of days ago, when I brought Eric a little gesture of shall we dance? Well, I can go ahead and tell you, I've seen it in the stars. He's going to have one fan-fucking-tastic week, just like he did last week. Big offensive put out. Both of our teams right now are struggling to find a little bit of offense, but not old Eric, good old sweet bearded Eric. Oh, wait, he doesn't have a beard. He probably has more ass hairs than he does facial hair. But he does have Jack Flaherty, who is an ace and will always be an ace and is the best pitcher in baseball, along with Tyler Glasnow, who is a god amongst all men. He probably is the best Dodger pitcher outside of, Shohei Ohtani is a distant third I think Clayton Kershaw is better than Glass now and Shohei Ohtani for sure. Clayton Kershaw pitching a nice little, but he doesn't have Clayton Kershaw. He does have the multicolored eye, beautiful man, Max Scherzer, who will probably pitch a complete game shutout against whatever fucking team. Oh, it's going to be Pittsburgh tomorrow. Yeah, he's definitely going to give him huge stats, and he will be able to do it because O'Neal Cruz is on the IL. So, had O'Neal Cruz been available, oh, look at that. The score is now 12-0 because, like I mentioned, that offense is just going to reign supreme for Bryce Harper. 2 home runs already. Let's go ahead and see that GIF pop up. But yeah, 2 home runs by one Bryce Harper, 3 RBIs, a stolen base. It's just, it's a good week for old Eric Croft, and he'll dominate this week, and I'll be lucky to walk out of there with 2 points. So, moving on, Shane will face off against Brian. This is a good matchup to watch. This is first place versus third place, and I can tell you Brian wants nothing more than to prove that this is his season where he belongs in the conversation. And what better place to do it when you got somebody standing just in your way? And will Shane be able to just continue that momentum? I'll tell you, Brian is having a fan-fucking-tastic Monday. 3 home runs already hit, but we do see that Trippin' Billy's is also having a great Monday. I can tell you who's not having a great Monday. That would be this cocksucker, me. Jason is facing off against Josh, another top 6 matchup. This one's going to be good. Jason wants, look at, my God, he's already got 30 strikeouts on a Monday. Jesus Christ. Paul Skeens, Matthew Liberatore, Freddie Peralta. Good Lord. Yuri Perez. My gosh. That a way to just go ahead and throw down the gauntlet. Okay, we get it. Good job for you there, buddy. He's already got a nice little, the Philadelphia Phillies are taking it to the Seattle Mariners right now. It's only bottom of the 7th. And again, we've seen Bryce Harper is, he's Jesus Christ's half-brother. Nick is going to try to do what he can to get back in the graces of 6th place. Nick, you can have my spot. I'm sure it'll be opened up after the can of whoop ass that will be given to me by my cousin. But he's facing off against a very powerful Scott. And Scott, also a team that has been mentioned in the top 6 this season, wants to and has every ability to get back in the conversation. Sean will face off against Ray Ray. I think, I'm able to go ahead and say that with there only being 3 weeks, this one included, that these two are out of it. I do not see that there is much for either team to be able to do. Now, I could be wrong, but again, one of these teams is going to take a loss. And how big of the win will it be at the end of this week? Who obviously knows, but these two might be out of it altogether. And last but not least, Jesus is looking to bring one Rally Monkeys back down into purgatory, if you will, and not doing a very good job is that Rally Monkeys pitching staff. Good golly. Strider, let him go, bro. He needs to just be, my goodness, dude. The Chicago White Sox, are you serious? Wow. You want an embarrassment? There's your picture right there. Spencer Strider against the Chicago White Sox. He's out of the game now, and so is Logan Gilbert against the Phillies. That's not a good start. But again, we all know Rally Monkeys, and we know his pitching staff ability. That 23.40 by next week, or by the end of this week, rather, I'm going to say it's going to have the first digit and the last two, a 2.40, just because, it's Walker's pitching staff. So we know what he's capable of. So those are your matchups of the week. And we have two that are involved in the top six. So there could be some disruption for sure that's among the top six. But let's get into our weekly standings, if you will, because I know that's what we're all here for. And to hear me just try to do simple math, Trippin' Billy's took a 3-game bump, if you will, from separating himself from bench warmers. Josh, like I had mentioned, suffered the loss and widened the gap, if you will. And Shane gets a little bit of credit because he defeated Ray as well. 4 games separate these two gentlemen, while only 2 games separate Brian and Josh. A whopping 5 games separates myself from Brian, and only 2.5 games separate myself from Rally Monkeys. And only a game and a half separates Jason from Walker. Now, here's again where it gets nerve shot. Nick is not out of it by any stretch of the imagination because he's only a half a game back from Jason. Mandalorians is 2.5 games back from Nick. Therefore, he's 3 games back. 3 games out of the top 6 is Scott. Now, 5.5 games. 5.5 games back is Eric. This could be a really big week against me, and it's already going to be a big week for him. I'm super excited that he may actually bring me also out of the top 6. So, again, he is only 5.5 games back from Jason, and 6 games back is Jesus. 6 games is out. Now, I had mentioned that Ray and Sean were pretty much, counted out. Now, 3 weeks left. They would have to win huge. And I mean like 12-0 for the next 3 weeks. That's probably not going to happen. Sean is 11 games back from Troubleshooters. So you see the gap. And Ray is, I suck at math, 14 and a half games back from just Jesus. From Jason's position, she's 20 games. 20 games. So again, you'd have to really just defeat, and again, the other teams in front of her would also have to suffer huge losses as well. So again, are they out of it? No, not mathematically, but we believe to say that the stars would just have to align perfectly. However, 10 teams are all vying for, in theory, 1 spot. But let's face it, I mean, Shane is human, although he doesn't pretend to be, or wait, he pretends not to be human. I don't know. He pretends to be human, but he's not human. I don't know what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying is Shane is the Lord Jesus Christ cousin, and somebody else's Jesus's stepbrother or something. I don't know. I fucking have used that analogy up way too much. But bottom line is Shane doesn't look to be being dethroned anytime soon. Josh obviously would have something to say about that. But yeah, that's really it. The nerves are shot, people. Because again, each week is very important, very crucial. And, if anything, Eric is about to just shine brighter than the North Star because he's fixing to get a win from the best pitcher in the game, Jack Flaherty, because his Detroit Tigers just put a whooping on the fucking Houston Astros, and he's already gotten the quality start. So he's winning 12-0 right now. 12-0. And I'm sitting there Just looking at offers. But Bryce Harper is doing good, and that game's not even over. So that's awesome. And oh, look, there's Randy Arozarena now doing nothing. And oh, look, there's Josh Naylor doing nothing. So I'm not going to bore you guys with talking about my own team. I think that it's a very good matchup between Walker and Jesus. These guys are, so close, and yet in the rankings look so far apart, but they are not. Again, Eric and myself, not far apart. And let's look at it this way. Based off of Stat Tracker right now, if this game was to be 12-0, the standings would look like this: Shane, Brian, Josh, Jason, Nick, and Eric. Let me put that into perspective for you. Shane, Brian, Josh, Jason, Nick, Eric would be 6th place. That's how much he wants to win 12-0. Jesus would be 7th. Myself would be 8th. Walker would be 9th. Scott would be 10th. If the scores were to hold right now. Now, obviously, they won't, but when you're off to a banging ass fucking start like Eric is right now, I guarantee you he's thinking nothing but put me in, coach. So, just putting that into perspective for you boys. All right? Well, I've done enough prospecting. You guys have yourself a good evening. Stay frosty. It's the motherfucker.